fishermen out in the ocean, and they'd board their boats and take the fish that the fishermen had so they'd have food, and then take their diesel fuel, but they'd leave enough fuel for the fishermen to get back. This is an example of how the war actually kind of came to the American home front. So you got toothpicks, I said, I don't have any toothpicks, but you will need toothpicks once I put your eyes out. He says, oh yeah, and I said, oh yeah. He says, oh yeah, I'm like, oh yeah. Right, these houses during World War II would have been asked, at night of course, to shut all their lights off, cover all their windows with thick black sheets, so as to act as to hide the coastline from any German boats or planes or whatever. The same would go for people on the west coast. They would be asked to do the exact same thing so the Japanese wouldn't find it. Any like gold platings on domes of capitals, such as in Massachusetts, would have been covered by black tar paper so it would make it harder to see.
Air attack. Would pile sandbags in front of storefronts and houses. Location in Vermont. The fear of a military invasion was constant, so many roads were built going into Canada so civilians could easily escape the treacheries of the military and easily go into the safety of Canada. Thank you. Trains were also very important in the war. A man who grew up in World War II.
Yes, one time a little fellow came up to me and he said, how do I get to the nearest army base? And I said, take a left, followed by a left, then take a right, go north 20 miles, then take a turn to the left, then follow the base south, and about 2 hours you should get there. He came back to me 2 days later and he said he never got there. Yeah.
And now for something completely different. Mike Buckley in a cage.
A large anti-Japanese movement swept the nation. Fearing a Japanese invasion, FDR ordered all people of Japanese descent be put into internment camps. Upon hearing this, the Japanese minority leader asked, has the Gestapo come to America? First, the Japanese were moved to fairgrounds and racetracks that were quickly converted into temporary camps. Then they were moved to internment camps where many would stay for 3 years. Life in the camp was dusty. Since the camps were on wastelands, dust was everywhere. Oddly enough, Japanese men could still be drafted.
Internment camp isn't much more than what I'm standing in right here. Basically, it would be 4 pieces of plywood stuck together and nailed in a house shape with a wood stove inside it. People would decorate it to seem more homely, but it'd always be the same. Dust would come in through the side, and it wasn't very weather protected. If it ever rained, you'd get soaked. Life in the Japanese internment camp was so described by some people as just normal life, but in a camp. But in actuality, it was a rough life. All you had to do was what the government told you could do. there wasn't much inside the constraints of the camp. You still had schools and libraries and hospitals and stuff. They're all dumbed down a little bit because they're just prisoners. Japanese men could still be drafted right after they got put in the camps. And now for some commentary on the long-term psychological effects of the camps, Professor Slim Jim.
Who's the best doggy in the world? Who's the best doggy in the world? Did I teach you? Who's the best doggy in the world? Oh, Professor Slim Jim does like that.
Gotta get a different professor.
Those Japs were pretty sneaky, I'll tell you what. They launched many bombs attached to balloons via the jet stream. Now we go live to Professor Slim Jim for some analysis of this type of warfare. Imagine this regular stream being the jet stream thousands of feet into the air. And these ducks being the bombs. No, wait, that's no good at all. Imagine those sticks being the bombs, and the sticks will eventually sink into the river. And thusly blowing up on the U.S. Why, I remember, one bomb even made it as far as Kansas, this being the cause of the only U.S. civilian casualties in the whole World War.
Dateline, Oregon, 1942. A preacher and his family were walking when they saw a large round metal object attached to a balloon, and they thought it'd be a good idea to go over and play with it.
Well, Rob's just gonna be like all like,
Shut up, son! You're a disgrace to this family!
hey Dad, you play baseball?
Oh, sure, son. And we could use fat ass over here as the ball.
Holy crap!
Hey, look, son, a spherical object.
Hey.
I'll poke it with a stick.
Okay, Dad. But I don't like baseball, Dad.
Well, I don't like you, and you don't see me complaining about it.
Hey, Dad, is that a baseball? Is that a baseball, Dad?
Yes. Damn you! God damn you all to hell!
The United States. But if they did, we'd win anyway, because we have guerrilla warfare, which is based on the element of surprise.
Ah!